8 months ago, my life was completely normal. I had a stable job as a financial analyst at a respected investment firm. The work was demanding, but I was proud of the reputation I had built. For 5 years, I handled sensitive financial accounts worth millions of dollars, and my managers trusted me completely. I believed my future was secure. Until one morning, everything collapsed. It began with a short email from HR. "Daniel, please come to the conference room immediately." When I walked in, the atmosphere felt strange. My boss, 2 executives, HR representatives, and the company's legal advisor were all sitting there. No one was smiling. My boss slid a thick file across the table. "Daniel," he said carefully, "we've discovered several financial transactions connected to your employee credentials." I frowned in confusion. "What kind of transactions?" The legal advisor opened the file and turned it toward me. Inside were records of bank transfers, authorization approvals, and account logs. Every single document had my name attached to it. Over $3 million had been transferred out of company accounts into offshore funds. My stomach dropped instantly. "This has to be a mistake," I said quietly. "I didn't do this," but the evidence looked devastating. The login records were mine. The authorization signatures were mine. The system showed that my employee account had approved everything. Within hours, security escorted me out of the building like a criminal. My coworkers watched in silence as I packed my things. Some looked shocked, others looked disgusted. By the next morning, the story was already spreading online. Financial analyst accused of multi-million-dollar fraud, 5 years of reputation gone overnight. My phone stopped ringing. Friends stopped replying to messages. No one wanted to be associated with someone accused of stealing millions. Except one person, my younger sister, Kira. When I called her that night, my voice shaking, she arrived at my apartment almost immediately. The moment she saw me sitting there completely broken, she hugged me tightly. "I believe you," she said softly. Those 3 words were the only thing keeping me from falling apart. "I'll help you prove your innocence." And she did. For weeks, she stayed by my side. She helped me review documents, examine financial statements, and research legal advice. Sometimes we worked until 3 in the morning trying to understand what had happened. Whenever I started losing hope, Kira would reassure me, "We'll find the truth, Daniel. Don't give up." I trusted her completely. After all, she was my sister. But as the investigation continued, something about the fraud started bothering me. The transactions were extremely precise. Every single transfer happened during moments when I wasn't at my desk. Lunch breaks, department meetings. One even happened during a company presentation where I had been speaking in front of dozens of people. It was almost as if someone knew exactly when I would be away from my computer. Someone who understood my schedule. Someone who understood the company's financial system. Someone close. Till I kept digging. Late one night, while reviewing system access logs, I noticed something unusual. Some of the fraudulent logins hadn't come from my office computer. They had been made through remote access that required a secondary verification code. Those codes were automatically sent to my phone every time someone tried to log into my account, which meant whoever accessed my system had also received those codes. My heart started beating faster. How could someone receive verification codes sent to my personal phone, unless they had installed something on it, or had access to it? And suddenly, a memory returned to me. About 2 months before everything happened, Kira had visited my apartment. At one point she had asked casually, "Hey, can I borrow your phone for a minute? Mine died." I handed it to her without thinking. She used it for a few minutes and then returned it. At the time it meant nothing, but now, the memory felt different. My hands began to shake as I opened my phone settings. I searched through the installed applications carefully. Most were normal, but deep inside the system files, I found something strange. A hidden application that wasn't listed on the home screen. It was a remote authentication forwarding program. It secretly forwarded verification codes to another device. My breathing became heavier as I checked the installation date. It had been installed the exact same day Kira borrowed my phone. "No, that can't be right," I whispered. Kira wouldn't do something like that. She was helping me. She was the only person who believed in me. But the more I investigated, the darker the truth became. I decided to follow the stolen money. The funds had been moved through multiple offshore accounts to hide their origin. At first, the trail looked impossible to follow. But eventually, after hours of digging through financial records, I found the final destination. A private investment account hidden under a shell corporation. It took me nearly an hour to break through the legal layers protecting the owner's identity. But when the name finally appeared on the screen, my heart stopped. Kira Lawson, my sister. I stared at the screen in disbelief. My chest felt tight. The person who had stayed by my side, the person who had promised to help me, the person I trusted the most, had framed me. Slowly, the entire plan became clear. Kira had used my phone to capture my verification codes. She accessed my employee account remotely. She transferred millions of dollars while I was away from my desk. And when the investigation began, she stayed close to me so she could control what I discovered. If I got too close to the truth, she could redirect me. If the investigation eventually lost evidence, the money would remain hidden, and she would still be the loving sister who helped clear my name. It was the perfect crime, at least. It almost was. The next evening, Kira came to my apartment as usual. She placed 2 cups of coffee on the table and smiled. "Any progress today?" she asked. I slowly turned my laptop toward her. The screen showed the financial account. Her name, the transfer records, the hidden corporation. Her smile disappeared instantly. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she leaned back in the chair and sighed. "You weren't supposed to find that," she said quietly. My voice felt hollow. "Why, Kira?" She looked at me calmly. "Because you had access to everything. The company trusted you completely, so it was easy." Tears filled my eyes. "You destroyed my life." She shrugged slightly. "I was planning to fix it eventually. When the investigation slowed down, I would help prove your innocence. You'd get your job back, and we'd both be rich." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My sister had destroyed my life, and thought it was a clever plan. But Kira made one final mistake while she was explaining everything. My phone on the table was recording the entire conversation, every word, every confession. The next morning I handed the recording and the financial evidence to the investigators. 2 days later, Kira was arrested for fraud, identity theft, and corporate embezzlement. The charges against me were dropped shortly after. My reputation slowly started recovering, but something inside me had changed forever. Because sometimes the most dangerous enemies aren't strangers. Sometimes they're the people you trust the most. The ones who know exactly how to break you, and sometimes the deceiver finally gets deceived.